Hello and welcome to Colouring with Colourful Crafts. This is the third time I've recorded because on my last two previous attempts the dog has started barking or someone has walked past the house. I don't know if you can hear her now, she's going barking. Oh dear, try and ignore that. So today's video is going to be slightly different from what I usually do. This is more focusing, I suppose, more on a reflection of myself and what led me into the whole colouring and why I do it and all of that. So it's kind of a share of some of my art books, some of my craft books. I do, a lot of the art kind of thing on the side. And then a bit of an idea of who I am, or rather what led me into the art, into the whole colouring community and why it's so important to me, as I'm sure it is to other people. But obviously we all have our own, reasons as to what's led us there. Now, personally, to me, this began quite a while ago, because quite a while ago I was not really into colouring. I was more, I've been a big gamer all my life. I've really loved just video games in general, particularly like horror and, shooters and all that kind of stuff. So I've been like massively into video games. I think one of the first video games that really set it off for me would be Tomb Raider. Or one of the first ones when I was about 8 or 9, where I was completely obsessed with video games and Tomb Raider and all of that stuff. Anyway, that's going off topic. So before I became a colourist and do what I do, I did a lot of gaming. And throughout my life, I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise in the background, just try and ignore it. Throughout my life, I have kind of grown up with the idea that aging, as we know it of today, is something, or at least is what I have thought, as something that really we need to, as I think, a collection, do something about. Now, I've always seen it as a pretty horrific thing that people go through every day that kills thousands of people, millions of people, and nobody ever thinks that's a bad thing. Whether that's because you wear rose-tinted glasses and you think it's admirable that we age and we die from it, I don't know. But I've always seen it as a bad thing. But I suppose growing up, I just assumed that a lot of people, rightly, and of course now we see wrongly, thought like me. And then I reached an age where I realised, okay, shit, nobody is actually thinking about it the way that I do. And that's a problem, that's a big problem. And when I reached that point, that's when I became really depressed and really upset. And I went through a bad place. And I'm not going to be a sob story, as there are so many on here, but let's just say it led me to discover my hero. And I'm not going to say it was an artist or any of that, because simply it wasn't. I'm not going to say it was a certain game developer, although if you know me, you know I love Last of Us. No, it was, if you want his name, I shall mention his name, please go and check him out, Aubrey de Grey. One night in bed, I couldn't sleep for the thought that aging is killing millions of people every single day. And why isn't anyone taking this seriously? Now, I know this is a colouring channel and you might think, what on earth? But this is a topic that is majorly important to me. And this is what got me into arts, crafts, colourings, all of this. I'm just adjusting my camera there. So I thought, God, is nobody else bothered, or is this just me? And this is going back a good 15, 20 years ago. Probably 15 years ago. So in desperation, I found, by looking on the internet as you do, that there was this guy called Aubrey de Grey, who at the time was deemed a bit of a nutcase. But he said that he was working on aging and he was going to, he was he was going to work on a cure, and we were going to get, you know, a cure. We're working on a cure. And I've researched since then, as I did in my because I had a lot of spare time. And I wanted to, please no, I wanted to see what all this was about and who was, you know, actually doing something about it and who was working on it and whether it was just me or whether it was just... So I discovered a lot of other scientists out there who are now collectively drawing together and, you know, realising that ageing is a terribly bad thing and why it isn't good for us. I'm sure if you want the, let's say, more scientific, more biology-driven explanations, well, all I can say to that is please go and check out as many videos by Aubrey de Grey as you can, as many interviews with Aubrey de Grey as you can, because this man really made it possible for me to continue. Before this point, I was severely depressed, thinking that nobody cared about it and we were all going to die of this awful thing called ageing, and there was nothing I could do. And let me tell you, there is something we can do about it. There is something at least I can do about it. And what I like to do is, when I can, which isn't very often, to donate and to support Aubrey in his work. And you might say, well, what's this got to do with arts? What's this got to do with crafts? Well, we'll get to that. The thing is, I think it's vital that everyone comes together, whether you're a colourist, whether you're a different kind of YouTuber, whether you're a vlogger, whether you're a gamer, whether you're a... Because everyone has this one problem and we've all got it. We can't escape from it. We all have the same problem, and that is ageing. And why is that a problem? Well, okay, I said I wouldn't explain, but I'll give you a brief explanation. Ageing kills people. It isn't this glorified sweet tale of getting old and then just dying peacefully in your bed. Ageing causes disease, and disease causes death. So what do we know? Well, we know that Alzheimer's, the majority of this, comes from ageing. We know that cancers, a majority of those, come from ageing. We know that heart disease occurs usually when people are older. You know, we have all these diseases and all these illnesses that collectively accumulate over time as you get older and eventually come out. And that is all caused by ageing. So ageing, to me, is a very bad thing and something that we need to do something about. But after I read that there was this man called Aubrey de Grey, I decided that I found out that there is someone actually as passionate about it as I am. Now, sadly, I don't have a degree, but Aubrey went to the University of Cambridge, where he got his degree in computer science, and later realised with horror, like myself, that nobody else was working on this horrible, horrible thing that is called ageing. And he decided, right, I'm changing fields and I'm going to do something about it. And as I say, I've researched a lot about other scientists. Now, there's a lot of other scientists working on it. There's David Sinclair, who is a bit extreme in his views. There's also another guy whose name keeps going from my mind. A lot of other scientists who are working in their own way on their own things that they think will help. Now, the reason why I am not as keen, let's say, on them as I am on Aubrey is because I don't think their methods are viable, as viable in the near future as what Aubrey's is. So I prefer to focus on a more realistic approach rather than popping pills or messing with, anything in that kind of area. Whereas Aubrey is more, no, what we need to do is focus that today, as of right now, we cannot do anything about it. Nothing. No dietary supplements are going to help you. No anti-aging pills are going to help you. No face creams, no snake oil, nothing. Nothing will help. The only thing that is going to help us to deal with this today is to donate. Okay? So what I mean by that is to go to Aubrey's website, which I shall try and link in the description below, on his foundations, and to donate. He used to be with a foundation called Sense Foundation, but he's since developed, because they're doing like the backbone of the work now, he's like done more of a sidelined projects which focus more on the things that are lesser known, that things that are not as being done as much, which is, you know, pretty important. So that kind of saved me, because I was at that point where I just thought there's nothing left. What's the point? I was so depressed at this thought that aging kills us and there's nothing we can do. And then I found that, and I was like, well, there is something, because Aubrey is working on something. So since that's one of the things that really motivates me now to get up and to get moving in the morning, is that there is a guy, and he is out there, and he is working on humanity's biggest problem. And while I can't personally do anything about that, all I can ask is that if you do follow my channel, will you please go and donate, and go and check out Aubrey de Grey, and I'll give his name in the description below, and please just do whatever you can to advocate his work, to get the message across, and just don't think about me as a crazy colorist woman who knows nothing about science, because trust me, I know a lot. And this guy has helped me through the darkest times of my life. But on the upside, I did actually get to meet him. So I can say on a personal level that he is an absolutely wonderful person. I went to a conference, a university lecture that he did, which was down in Warrington, which is kind of within easy range for me to travel to. And I listened to his lecture, and he goes into all the ins and outs of how biology works and why we age, and you know, and all of this. And it's just fascinating. If you're one of these people who is into that kind of thing, you will like it. And he kind of explains it in terms that even the kind of average person can kind of grasp, if you understand. And also I had a book. I had his official book, which I shall just go and fetch from my cupboard. I don't know if you're interested, but I'm interested, and I'm going to show it. And also I've got another stack of books that I'm going to get to in a moment. So this is, if you haven't ever seen this book, this is Ending Aging by, of course, Aubrey de Grey and Michael Ray, who I have also got connections with. So this is one of his first books that he came out with, and I bought a copy and I took it to the conference, and he actually signed it. I managed to shake his hand. It's all about basically the breakthroughs that are going to revolutionize human aging within our lifetime. So it's all about the ins and outs of all the sciencey kind of all of that stuff, and how cells work, and how, you know, all of this becomes like intertwined with each other, and death of cells, and reproduction of cells, all sorts of very deeply engrossing DNA, intricate things, mitochondria. It's a lot to take in, but it's a really good book. If you can get it, do. I managed to meet him, and I shook his hand, and I also got an autograph. That there, I am telling you, is the authentic autograph. And in years to come, you will look back, if you haven't already, and Aubrey is quite possibly going to be up there with Einstein in terms of historical figures that we look up to and admire. He is up there with Einstein. And he saved me from a very, very dark place, actually, and made me realise that people are working on ageing, and something is being done, and that I shouldn't give up. So for that, I am eternally grateful to him. And if you would like to, please, as I say, if you want to support my channel, donate. I shall try and link to his website and to his other foundations below, and just do what you can, for whatever you can. Donate whatever you can, even if it's £1, $5, whatever currency, wherever you are, do it. And try and push your religious beliefs away, because religion is not going to help when aging gets hold of you, when you've got Alzheimer's, when you've got heart disease, when you've got cancer, right? You may say, God will save us. He might, I don't know. I'm not a religious person. I just know what I know. And today, I think the biggest problem is aging, and we must do something about it. And Aubrey, out of all the other scientists who are merrily working their way on these problems, is the one scientist I would wholeheartedly get behind and, you know, really give him the support and the donations if you can. Anything like that you can, because he is greatly underfunded and not enough people know about him. So please do that, because it was, as I say, through him that it gave me motivation to live again and to start art and to start my colouring and to really immerse myself back into what I guess I just hadn't really seen for ages. And then a couple of years after that, my mum gave me a colouring book and got me right into colouring, and then from there onwards I was just hooked on being able to learn about science, but also on the flip side do my colourings and do my art, and yeah, it's just been brilliant. So please go and check him out. So after all that, I'm just going to get through. Here's my stack of art books. I've also got some more that I'm going to go and grab, and then we'll get to it. So the first one I have to show you, this one I have worked on for quite a while. Please ignore that, that's just my dog in the background. For quite a while is this Whimsical Girls. This is like, if you don't know her, she's Jane Davenport. She does a lot of paintings and art herself. And one day when I was just like trawling through all these websites, I came across her and I fell in love with her artwork. As you can see, this is one of her, I think this is one of more creative books where you can just kind of dip into when you want and colour in the, she does faces like this, which just absolutely blew me away when I saw her work at first. And I thought, oh, also I think with a lot of creativity and art and colouring, it gives you the opportunity to just leave your inner thoughts and your inner worries at the door and just release that onto the page and just let your mind go. So this was one of the first books, or maybe the second book I got of hers, but equally as, I mean, her illustrations are gorgeous. And yeah, I'm going to probably start colouring in this book very soon, because I call this, I mean, they don't call this, you see I've already cut something out from there, but they don't actually call this a colouring book. It's more of a creativity book. But I'm going to start colouring in from this, I think, fairly soon, and using these images in my art journal, which I have at the side now. I'll show you that after I showed you the rest of her books. So she does this other one called Beautiful Faces. This is from her workshop where she does a lot of these type, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get that in frame, these type of kind of drawings and teachings about how you get the faces right and how you mix media into it and all of that. So this, for example, shows you how to go about doing the lips, and then a demonstration of how it can be done. If you haven't heard of her, believe me, she is worth checking out. And all of her art utensils and brushes and a studio, which is changed a bit now from there. But yeah, and she's also got a YouTube channel, which is definitely worth checking out because she is one of my favourite. I love watching her, and she's such a happy person, and she's always so excited to bring lovely new things. As you know, I've got her collection of paints and paintbrushes, which I have worked with for a while, and they've been really good. Just love her things. This is Marvelous Mermaids, another one of her book, and with it being mermaids, if you don't know me, I'm also very, very much into my mermaids, and I was just absolutely had to get this book. And again, she kind of gives you demonstrations of how to go about doing your mermaids and what to use and how to do the faces and the backgrounds, and it's full of such wonderful images, all in her kind of style, which you have kind of the outlines to copy, the kind of outlines to go through in your own style and to kind of copy out in your own page, so that eventually you can come up with these beautiful characters. And I just love her work, as I say. So I wanted to kind of give a bit of a thing of what I've got first. As I say, I've got pretty much all of her books. This is more of a creative one. This kind of paper in here is more watercolour. It's got a very watercolour kind of feel, you know, that kind of rumpled, kind of textured paper. If that makes sense. So yeah, there's that. I really like her with a ladybird on her nose. But yeah, she's got a lot of these. Again, this could be a very good one for me to colour, because actually on the sideline of that I have a book which I began. This is again purchased from the Jane Devonport website. As you can see, Jane Devonport down there. Mine's got a bit battered now and covered in paint, but that shows it's loved. So this is what I have. I decided to kind of follow one of her online tutorials, and I did this first kind of double page spread. I stuck on an epilepsy action sticker here, because if you didn't know, I have epilepsy. Yeah, another big wow point of my life. And then someone sent me this little card. It says splendid, it is a splendid dozen. I thought that was really sweet, so I stuck that on there. We've got all sorts going on, but these paints here I use with her paints, and they just shine beautifully. And as I say, this is just a brief demonstration of my artwork that I am doing, and I would kind of share with you. I did these two which I found online. I tried to implement those into it. They were some vintage, I think they're called hard chow, vintage Italian characters. I found them online, I can't remember where, and I just thought, oh, I'll put them in. But it's trying to help me to be loose and to collage and to cut things out and try, and then also to you know, as you can see here, to try and draw the girls that she does on the page, and try and get because my drawing isn't the best. This is a pocket I included, which I don't believe actually has anything in, but you can have these things there for like collecting things if you want. This is another one of a girl I did a while ago using Jane's techniques, and the birds and the trees. Again, collaged, cut things out, stuck them on. I went wrong with the cheek here. I went in too much, whereas it should have been more out. But you know, it's all in the learning curve, isn't it? We're all artists, I think. Or are we? Would you say that colourists are artists? Or maybe an artist in weights? Maybe not quite an artist, but you're just kind of experimenting. Maybe that's what we are. I don't know. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of her work, as you can see, you know, like trying out different ways of like doing the bodies and getting the angles right. And I'm not quite there yet, but I plan to get better with these things. I plan to improve my art style and get to a place where I can maybe, this is from collaged pieces of paper, and then I just drew the face on. It's not very good, but so I wanted to get to a place with all of that where I can like begin to, you know, show what I've been doing and see how many people watch it. And if you want to watch that kind of thing, you might not, you might just want to watch the colouring. And you also might think now that I am an absolutely crazy woman and you don't want to subscribe to my channel anymore. Well, if not, and you don't have the same belief as me, bye bye, see you later. I don't really care. I'll do my thing. I believe in what I want, and my views are my views, and that's fine. So I've got a few more art books to show you, which I think you might enjoy, and it gives you an idea of what's out there as well. Another one that I've got is The Art of Creative Watercolour. This is by Danielle Donaldson. This is a really good one because it shows how you can very loosely create things with with the watercolour, and in interesting ways, like all blues, like blue books, blue butterflies, blue parrots, blue balloons, ice cream, sea, everything, and then kind of collage it all together in wonderful ways. You can even make them into little pictures and frames, and kind of go through the papers as well, because I find a lot that you don't know what kind of paper works well. And she also likes to stick a lot on, oh, this will be a lovely one for February, stick on like a lot of things that have like red in. So like here we have fabric sheets and pieces of papers and bits of watercolour paper that she's used, and kind of sticks them all on together, and it looks really, really cool. Again, she does things differently in each page, but she gives you, you know, kind of an idea of what you can do. And these are just fantastic books, and a lot of where I get my inspiration from sometimes will come from just looking through my books and exploring the ideas. Next we have, oh, I left the price on there. This is the Unfurling a Mixed Media Workshop, Misty Morn, I think she's called. This is a great book. It's just for self-expression really, through the art of, you know, like journaling. But again, I mean, you can create these girls. I went through a phase of just trying out, cutting things out and then sticking them on, and then gradually creating like these made up kind of little figurines, and they're just fantastic to use. But she shows you the right stenciling and how you can like piece together pictures and make little cards or ideas out. I mean, that is just beautiful. And that's all from, I think, just cutting up pieces of paper here, layering them on, and kind of collaging into different ideas, and even like cutting out shapes by using a stencil mask, oh words, and then doing a teapot. This is a great book if you are really into that kind of thing. I think she also goes into paintings and acrylic paints, and does she even mention oil paints maybe somewhere? No, it just says watercolour. I don't know if she mentioned, I thought she mentioned oil painting somewhere in a book. I got some oil paints recently, but I had a bit of a disaster with them. They wouldn't work properly and I fell out with them. But I do like, obviously, acrylics, watercolours, any of that. So it's great for that. This is one by, of course, I think you will know her if you're kind of into the whole colouring community, maybe. Diana Wakely, Wakely, yeah, that's how you pronounce it. She does a lot of the stencils and the, you know, really quirky kind of artwork that you see a lot. And her stencils you can actually buy. I think I've got a few of hers. Is it her stencils or is it Tim Holtz? It might be Tim Holtz stencils actually, but she uses them a lot in her art, and she's given me many a good inspiration also for my colouring pages by, like, you know, the way you can put it together. I love her, again, I love her details here with the birds and the rose, and it's kind of inspiring me more to get into my journaling and to show you how I do my things through that. I've got her other one, which is the Art Journal Freedom. This is again showing you how to art journal and to do it with more of a freedom, to be more free with it. And you see kind of colour charts, what works together, what doesn't. I had a go once with that bird and the background, scrawling letters around it. All these things are kind of it's kind of messy, but it's kind of not, if you see what I mean. And I'm really tempted to try and, again, really get into this, but I need to get, that's one thing I need to get, is some more of these ink pads, because they're so useful for even just your colourings or, you know, whatever, that kind of thing. I got this for £1. What a good deal that was. This is a second-hand book, I believe, but I've managed to find it for £1, so that was really good. This one's a bit different, but it uses similar techniques to kind of teach you how to draw things like the fruits, and how to you know, use like little stencils and things like that. And so you can see lots of different techniques, how you can even make like little stamps and rubbers out of erasers out of different things, and how you can put a moon on the background of paper. And again, a really good book. These are just my books. If you'd like to see full flip throughs, I can show you. This is one of my favourite books here. This is 50 Ways to Draw Your Ordinary Beautiful Life. So this is very much like those. Here is a girl that you can pull out, and it shows you how to make these paper dolls and dress them up if you like, and add collars to them. I'm sorry, this is so I've got such a small amount of desk space to work with. And then how you can draw your own people and cats and cushions and dogs. And basically it's very loose but easy to kind of get the hang of. And then she gives you like these other blank pages to kind of test out different colours with, and to see what works with what, and how maybe if you wanted to collage something on, and you know, kind of see the colours working together. If you kind of see what I mean, like this navy blue with this kind of warm grey, and the kind of, you know, how they contrast and work together really well. It's such an inspiring book, and it really can set you off if you're looking for something to really get you into the idea of artwork and colour, away from colouring maybe, and more into artwork. These are fantastic books, and I absolutely love that. That is one of the best you can get, in my opinion. I also have a few more to share with you. Let's get them from over here at the other side of the room. And obviously my Last of Us art books, which if you're not a big fan of The Last of Us, then it's just at the end of this video, so you don't have to stay for the whole lot. This is Imagine the Forest, Designs and Inspirations for Enchanting Folk Art. And this, if you're a folk art lover, then you are going to love this book. This is full of folklore and pictures of mermaids again. Absolute sucker for mermaids. Loads and loads of different variations of how you can do castles, and how you can do people, and how you can do foxes and wildlife and bears and cats. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, full of beautiful things. Highly recommend buying that. Another one we have, as you've seen recently in one of my last videos, is the Victoria and Albert Museum source book of pattern and ornament. And this book in particular has been really inspiring to me, because you can say, if you're colouring and you don't know what colours look good together, or what, you know, maybe like a certain, it looks, maybe you've got a colouring in a colouring book that has a certain design to it, and you want to know how to incorporate certain colours into that design. You can look at this and kind of figure out one that may look similar and think, oh right, okay, I'll use those colours like that. Or you can just do it as get it as a great book to just look through. I mean, as I say, my mum purchased this for me quite a few years ago now, but I'm always coming back to this for inspiration, because it's just so inspirational with all of its patterns and colours and ways to kind of mix things in with each other. It's absolutely beautiful. One of the absolutely gorgeous books. And then I think I recently purchased this. I have not actually done any work from it. Well, I must remember to do that, because this book is also fantastic. This gives you demonstrations of how to do each little animal, birds, bees, bugs, butterflies, beetles, flowers. I mean, everything is in this book. It's so good, and it teaches you step by step how to build up so that you can get these images together by yourself. Or it was from Royal Botanic Gardens. I'm not sure if this is online anymore, though you might be able to find it on Amazon, but I bought it from the official website. It might not be there. I don't know, I can't say. This is just a fun little one that I thought I'd share with you. Someone purchased this for me. This is just a storybook, or I think it's a storybook Oh, it's got a few rude words in. Try and just ignore the rude words. But yeah, it's a lovely little kind of quirky book with creatures in it, but I just loved it. I loved it. I thought that was really nice. Even just having books like this, it can give you inspiration, you know, for what you want to do. So it's fantastic. That is by Amber Fosse, I think it is called. She's cool. And then this one is Botanical Inspiration. This is another great book of mine, which I haven't looked at for years. But you know, this is particularly great if you have an art book that you're working on. You want to see how maybe you could collage together and what to use. Full of such great patterns and detail. It's just amazing. I love these pages with this, with these poppies. What are they called? Pansies. All sorts of different ways of kind of, you know, incorporating things into your artwork, or doing, you know, basic line work detail. That's great as well. Absolutely fantastic book. That one is by doesn't actually say, does it? Oh, I think it, well, it's not by someone in particular. It's by a load of artists whose names, some of them I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to do. And then we have one that's Amelia's compendium, of fashion illustration. So if you're into your fashion illustrations, this one is beautiful. It's got so many different, again, this is one more that I keep on my shelf for inspiration, but I just love her characters and the way that she draws them, and how you can like incorporate backgrounds with different scenes. It's just absolutely amazing. You can put like font work. This is again partly why I like to use a lot of font if I can, but I need to get better with my font style. I need to get to a point where I can do things like that and put it at the back of characters and build upon that, because you can get so many things done if you have the right font work, or the ability, shall I say, of creating the right font work. So the last two I have here are just my Last of Us books. These are still available on Amazon, priced at, I don't know how much I paid for this, something ridiculous, I think £30. It's $49.99 in the US, but I don't know how much this would be in the UK. If you didn't know, I am a massive Last of Us fan. I absolutely love it. I've got the games, I've got the art books, I've got the comic book, I've got the TV series. I'm thinking about getting a tattoo. I'm thinking I love The Last of Us. It's my favourite game ever, and I thought I had found my favourite game ever, but no, this is my favourite game ever. I love Ellie, I love Joel, I love all of it. And this is just a huge book of all the details and all the designs of all the characters and how everything came together, and the scenes from in the movies and scenes from in the game. A lot of it is just fascinating to look at. It's really, really interesting. I think this is from the game here, or it might not be. Actually, there's some kind of, oh, and you can see like there's like different artworks that they put in as well. This is just a brilliant book. If you're into The Last of Us, then these books are fantastic. I cannot recommend them enough. They're quite big as well, quite heavy, but they are really, really worth it. And then I got the second edition. Or is this the first edition? Yeah, first edition. First part. I love the artworks in here are just incredible, and it shows you like the urban decay and the landscape and like the characters. Obviously we've got Sarah, Joel, Tommy, the whole journey of it all, Ellie, you know, all of this. But it's you know, fantastic book. And then the clickers and the infected, of course, and the landscapes of it all, the weapon design, the character design. It's all in this book. It's fantastic and I absolutely love it. I cannot recommend these enough. If you're a fan of The Last of Us and you really like the stuff, then these books are definitely worth purchasing. But as I say, you might not be a fan of it. If you're not, you probably haven't got this far into the video, so that's fine. So I will be back with some coloured pages that I've completed on Sunday, and I believe, yes, I believe I've got quite a few coloured pages coming up, but I just wanted to show you that and to give an indication of who I am, what I like, what I don't like. And maybe if you feel you want to donate, as I say, you can do. I'll leave the link down below in the description. So please do feel free, because it would make me happy. I'm not an affiliate. I don't have any connection to him whatsoever. It is just my beliefs and what I aspire for the future. So please, please, please check out that, and check out Aubrey de Grey, and also stay tuned and tell me whether you think you would like to see maybe some artwork being done, because I've got a lot of art books and and probably not enough time to get through it all, but you know, it's just there to kind of give you an idea of what I have and what I haven't got, and what I plan to do and what I do on a bit on the side. I've got some more journals that I've worked in, but I'm not sure whether to show them, whether people will be interested. I might just show them anyway. I might just go, oh, sorry, I'll show it anyway. I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and catch you soon. Bye.